Are you looking to unlock the secrets of understanding others on a deeper level? In this video, we will dive into the profound teachings of Buddhism as we explore 7 powerful ways to read people's minds. 1. Paying attention to facial expressions and body language. Facial expressions are a way for everyone to communicate. A smile can mean that someone is happy, but it can also hide that they are sad or uncomfortable. In the same way, a furrowed face could mean that someone is focused, worried, or angry. To really know how someone is feeling, we need to look at these facial gestures in the right setting. For instance, if someone smiles but their eyes stay sad, that means they are feeling something deeper, maybe something they are not showing. Body language is also very important. Crossed arms can mean that someone is defensive, while open arms and a relaxed stance can mean that someone is comfortable and open. By paying attention to these body language cues, we can better figure out what people are trying to say without speaking. For example, someone who leans in during a talk is probably paying attention and interested, while someone who leans away may be uncomfortable or not interested. The Buddha said that everything we do and feel is a reflection of our thoughts. By paying close attention to these signs, we can figure out what other people are really thinking and feeling. To do this practice well, you need to be patient, pay attention, and not judge others. We need to watch without making snap judgments right away so that we can fully understand the meaning and nuances of every expression and movement. To be aware, we need to be able to control our body language and facial expressions. We can speak more clearly and kindly if we are aware of how we present ourselves. Being aware of both ourselves and others makes for a more harmonious exchange that leads to better understanding and connection. When you do it enough times, paying attention to body language and facial expressions becomes second nature. It makes us smarter and more sensitive by helping us understand what other people are thinking. In Buddhism, this is not just a skill, it's also a way to get along better with other people. 2. Paying attention to what others say. In Buddhism, listening is as important as reading or writing. It is seen as a way to meditate. Being fully present with the person means hearing not only what they say, but also how they feel and what they want to say. We can really understand and connect with others when we listen at this level. When someone talks, they show what's going on inside them. Their words, tone of voice, and speed all give away hints about how they feel and what they are thinking. For instance, speaking quickly could be a sign of stress, while a steady, calm tone could mean that they are sure of themselves and their thoughts. By paying close attention, we can pick up on these subtle cues and understand what the person is thinking. The Buddha taught us to listen without judging. When we listen to someone, we often already have ideas for what to say next and how to respond to what they say. We can't really hear what the speaker is saying because of this. We should instead listen with an open mind and heart, taking what they say at face value and not judging or responding right away. This practice of listening without judging makes room for real knowledge and empathy. Listening actively is more than just hearing words. We have to pay attention to the pauses, the changes in tone, and the feelings that are being shown. Someone might say they are fine, but a small shake in their voice or a long pause before speaking can show that they are actually upset. We can pick up on these subtleties and react with kindness and understanding if we are fully present. Buddhists also believe that listening is a form of kindness. We show someone we value and respect them by giving them our full attention. Deep listening can help someone feel better because it makes them feel heard and understood. It builds trust and a sense of belonging, which are important for meaningful relationships. Hearing other people can also help us see what's going on in our own heads. The Buddha taught that how we respond to what other people say shows how we are feeling inside. By paying attention to how we react to what we hear, we can learn more about our own feelings and thoughts. Being self-aware is important for learning and growing as a person. By practicing listening deeply and with kindness, we get better at reading people's minds. We go beyond talking about surface things and get to know the deeper facts about the people we talk to. By doing this, we build empathy, understanding, and a deep sense of how everything is connected. 3. Trusting your gut and instincts. A big part of Buddhist beliefs is intuition, which people often call a gut feeling. Our inner voice, that deep knowing that goes beyond what our minds can understand, guides us. In Buddhism, intuition is seen as a way to connect to a deeper knowledge that comes from practicing spirituality and being mindful. Often our gut is the first thing that tells us what someone really thinks and feels. It's an instant, natural reaction that can help us understand how other people feel. For instance, when we meet someone, we might feel either trust or discomfort right away. These first thoughts are our instincts at work, giving us information before our logical mind has a chance to think about it. There is a Buddhist teaching that says intuition is a kind of deep knowledge. Being fully present and connected to the world around us makes it happen. Meditation and daily practice help us become more mindful, which makes our intuitive insight stronger. We can trust our gut feelings and use them to learn more about other people because we are more aware. A lot of the time, our gut feelings are affected by small clues that our rational mind might miss. Some of these are body language, tone of voice, and even the energy someone gives off. As long as we pay attention to these signs, our gut can tell us a lot about how someone is feeling. For example, someone might say they are happy, but we could tell they are really sad or worried. Buddhist beliefs tell us to trust our gut feelings, but they also tell us to check them out by being aware and observing. In other words, we should trust our gut thoughts, but we should also look at the facts. We can better understand other people when we use both intuition and careful observation together. Empathy is also affected by intuition in a big way. We can feel what other people are feeling if we tune into our intuition. We can react with kindness and understanding because of this empathetic link. For instance, if our gut tells us that someone is stressed out, we can be kind and supportive, even if they haven't said what they're feeling. To improve your instincts, you need to practice and be patient. To do this, you have to clear your thoughts and be open to the small signs that come up. In this process, meditation is very helpful because it helps us connect with our inner knowledge and become more aware. When we use our intuition often, it gets better and more reliable. In Buddhism, intuition is not only a way to understand other people, it's also a way to learn more about yourself and grow spiritually. When we believe in and work on our intuitive insights, we connect with a deeper truth and wisdom that helps us know how to treat other people. This deep connection makes it easier to understand how other people are feeling and makes us feel more connected and compassionate. 4. Figuring out micro-expressions. Micro-expressions are short, uncontrollable changes in the way your face looks that show how you really feel. Mindfulness, a Buddhist practice, helps us notice these fleeting signs, which gives us insight into other people's thoughts. These expressions are used by everyone when they are trying to hide or push down their true thoughts. To notice small emotions, you need to be mindful, which is a central idea in Buddhism. We can notice these small facial cues that often only last a fraction of a second if we are fully present and paying attention. As an example, someone might quickly show anger and then return to a calm attitude. This short display can tell you a lot about how they're really feeling. The Buddha taught that everything we do is a reflection of our mind. By looking at these small facial movements, we can figure out how someone is feeling and why they are acting the way they are. For example, a person may seem calm on the outside, but a quick look of fear could mean they're anxious or feel unsafe. When we recognize these small expressions, we can react with more understanding and empathy. To get better at reading small facial gestures, we need to become very aware of our surroundings. Not only do we have to watch other people, but we also have to be aware of our own responses and biases. In Buddhism, knowing yourself is important for getting to know other people. By learning how to recognize and understand our own emotions, we can better understand and identify those of others. A lot of the time, micro-expressions are tied to certain feelings like happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, and disgust. There are different facial expressions for each of these feelings. For instance, a smile with raised cheekbones is a sign of happiness, while a sad face usually has a mouth that turns down and eyes that hang down. By looking at these expressions, we can quickly and correctly figure out what they mean. Along with facial expressions, body language, and tone of voice also play a role in sending a message. For example, someone may smile with their mouth but be tense in their body, which shows that they are not really happy. When we look at all of these things together, we get a better picture of how someone really feels. Mindfulness and meditation can help us get the focus and clarity we need to see small facial movements. We train our brains to be more aware of and responsive to the small signals around us. By practicing consistently, we can notice small changes in the faces of people we talk to, which can help us understand their thoughts better. We improve our ability to feel empathy and make connections with other people when we learn to read small facial movements. In Buddhism, compassion and understanding are important values. By noticing these small signs, we can react with kindness and support, helping others feel understood and cared for. 5. Considering cultural differences. When trying to read people's thoughts, it's important to think about cultural differences, which is one of Buddhism's main teachings. Buddhism stresses how important it is to respect and understand different points of view, because culture has a big impact on how people show feelings and what social cues mean. Each society has its own ways of showing how it feels. In some cultures, direct eye contact may show confidence, while in others, it may be seen as rude. In the same way, facial expressions and gestures may have different meanings in different cultures. For example, in some Asian cultures, a smile can hide embarrassment or discomfort, while in Western cultures, it is often a sign of happiness. We can better understand how people think and feel by being aware of these differences. Buddhism teaches us to be open-minded and not judge others based on how they usually act. Instead of making quick decisions based on our own cultural biases, we should try to understand the cultural context in which a person is working. This method helps us read social cues more accurately and encourages people to talk to each other with respect and understanding. In Buddhism, the idea of right speech is very important. It means that we should talk to others in a way that is kind, honest, and thoughtful. To practice right speech, we need to understand how people from different cultures speak and express themselves. We can respond more thoughtfully and with empathy if we take the time to understand these differences. To understand cultural differences, you need to be patient and willing to learn. We should try to learn more about how people from different cultures express their feelings. This can be done by reading books, traveling, or just talking to people from different backgrounds. When we actively look for this information, we not only improve our ability to read people's minds, but we also encourage a culture of respect and appreciation for differences. In Buddhism, understanding cultural differences is a step toward understanding and connecting with all people. This idea is based on the idea that we are all the same, despite our differences. By learning to recognize and respect these differences, we build deeper, more meaningful connections and work toward a more peaceful and harmonious world. 6. Understanding the impact of past experiences. In Buddhism, it is believed that our past experiences affect our present thoughts and actions. The teachings of the Buddha stress how important it is to be aware of how our pasts affect us and other people. To understand how people think and feel, you need to know how their past experiences have shaped them. Every person has a different history that affects how they see the world and respond to it. Someone who has been hurt in the past may be more careful and wary, while someone who has been through a lot of love and support may be more open and trusting. By being aware of these differences, we can understand why people act the way they do. In Buddhism, being mindful means being aware of our own and other people's experiences. By paying attention, we can see how past experiences affect how people think and feel right now. For example, someone who has been through a lot of rejection may have trouble trusting people, while someone who has had good experiences with other people may be more willing to get close to them. By understanding these connections, we can react with kindness and care. Compassion is also a key part of how Buddhists think about other people. We develop empathy and understanding when we realize that people's actions are shaped by their past. This makes it possible for us to treat other people with kindness and not judge them based on what they have done. For example, if someone gets angry or defensive quickly, we can respond with patience and understanding by knowing that their past experiences may have taught them to act that way. Also, Buddhism says that we should be aware of how our own pasts affect how we see other people. We all have biases and beliefs that come from our own lives. By being aware of these biases, we can keep them from clouding our view and making us less able to understand other people. This self-awareness lets us see things more clearly and helps us connect with other people on a deeper level. Reflection is an important part of being able to see how our past affects us. Through meditation and self-reflection, we can think about our own past and how it affects the way we act now. By doing this often, we can get rid of old patterns and thoughts that no longer help us and approach other people with a clearer, more open mind. In Buddhism, letting go of our attachment to the past is also seen as a way to grow as a person. We make room for new ideas and points of view by letting go of old pain and grudges. This practice not only helps us learn more about ourselves, but it also helps us understand and connect with other people better. 7. Practicing mindful observation. Mindful observation is the practice of watching without making judgments. It is one of the most important things in Buddhism. By being fully present and aware of what's going on, we can learn more about how other people are feeling and thinking. This careful observation is important for knowing what other people are really like. In Buddhism, being mindful means being aware of both the inside and the outside. We learn to watch without judging, simply noticing how people act and show their feelings. This non-judgmental awareness lets us pick up on even the smallest signs that someone is giving off. Mindful observation is being aware of how things change all the time. The Buddha taught that everything is always changing, including how we feel and how other people feel. We can see these changes in real time and understand what they mean if we stay in the moment. For mindful observation to work, you need to be very still and patient. In a world where things move quickly, it's easy to jump to conclusions or miss small details. Buddhism tells us to slow down, take our time, and be fully present. By doing this, we can see things that we might have missed otherwise, like a quick change in facial expression or a subtle change in how someone speaks. When we observe mindfully, we also watch ourselves. We become aware of how we react to other people, how our thoughts affect our views, and how our feelings affect how we see things. This self-awareness keeps us from seeing things from our own point of view and lets us see things as they really are. Also, mindful observation isn't just something you do for yourself. It's also a way to connect with other people. By really paying attention to what someone says, we show them that we value and care about them. This kind of presence builds trust and a deep sense of connection. Meditation is an important way to learn how to watch carefully. It teaches us how to pay attention and be aware, which helps us be more present in our everyday lives. As we practice meditation regularly, our ability to observe becomes sharper, and we become more sensitive to how other people feel. In Buddhism, mindful observation is also seen as a way to get along better with other people. We learn to respond with compassion, understanding, and care when we can see and understand how other people feel. This deep connection makes us more kind and loving and helps us work toward a world that is more peaceful and harmonious. In Buddhism, reading other people's minds isn't just about figuring out how they feel. It's also about making a deep, real connection with them. By paying attention to facial expressions, listening deeply, trusting our instincts, and practicing mindful observation, we learn more about how other people think and feel. This practice not only helps us understand each other better, but also makes us more empathetic and compassionate. Buddhism teaches us that the mind and the heart are deeply connected. By combining mindfulness with kindness, we learn to read people's minds in a way that helps us connect with them on a deeper level. This practice is both an art and a way of life, and it helps us build more meaningful relationships with the people around us. Let us practice the art of reading people's minds with kindness, patience, and understanding, remembering that it is not just about figuring out what they are thinking, but also about making a real connection with them. By doing this, we get closer to the Buddhist ideal of a world where everyone lives in harmony and is at peace.